one way to stand out is going deep instead of broadening and being sort of a master of. The goal shouldn't be to get a job. The goal should be what you do at the job and communicate that to your interviewer. I would encourage people, if you do have a job, hang on to it and look for opportunities to get and build new skills before leaving that job, curating what to look at and really being confident in the career track that you want to follow.
Hi all, good morning. So today I have Chris with us, who is all about helping people and solving big problems. He recently just became a dad to a beautiful little girl called Lily. So we'll find out more about that later. But let's welcome Chris on 10 Minutes of Hiring Wisdom, where he will tell us about what it's like to enter parenthood, how his experience has been, and what he's learned along the pandemic, especially when it comes to the job market. Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, Chris, tell us about parenthood first.
Yeah, well, parenthood, I will say I understand why parental leave is important. These babies don't sleep. Wow, they need some help, but it is important, and it's relevant for today's conversation because I'm working on a company called Workback in the benefits space. What we're trying to do and what we've learned over the last 2 years from launching our company really focused on upskilling. That's what we've been working on, is really helping companies to provide a benefit of learning for their employees. And specifically what that means is the ability to take advantage of what the IRS provides companies, which is a benefit to deduct the cost of tuition thanks to the CARES Act. So there's this really great flavor of deduction that companies can take by investing in tuition for things like e-learning or even paying down student debt for employees. And so really what we're building now is less for job seekers and more for employees as a benefit. I will say, though, we started our journey down this category through supporting upskilling for apprenticeship. So helping people go through apprenticeships and learn on the job. So really what I'd love to emphasize today is the importance of upskilling, and whether you're a job seeker or an employee sort of dissatisfied, like many people have become through the Great Resignation and really not happy with what they're doing, there are courses that are available out there for anyone to take. So free courses, low cost courses on platforms like Coursera or Udemy, but your employer might actually subsidize you to take additional courseware. So if you're already employed but you're looking for a new job, you might consider staying and getting your employer to invest in upskilling to support a career transition. So what we've seen are people like myself who have gone from working in sales to working in product management. So I would encourage people, if you do have a job, hang on to it and look for opportunities to get and build new skills before leaving that job. Now, if you don't currently have a job, you might consider upskilling as a way to qualify for new roles. If you're struggling, let's say you worked in customer success or a role that was sort of non-technical but supported technical teams, maybe you could look towards building skills downstream and learning what the product does, learning how to support analytics for your company. There are skills that job seekers can build again within a company and subsidized by the company, but as well as qualifying for new roles by upskilling. So that's really what we focus on. Our company's called Workback. Our website is takeworkback.com, and we're sort of in stealth mode right now, working on build mode, baby building, but also product building. And what we're building is a platform to help our employer partners to provide upskilling as a benefit to all of their employees, not just new hires. So hopefully that answers the question.
No, I absolutely love that. I think a lot of people don't realize what benefits actually are, and they have a lot of things in paper, but when it actually comes to implementing the benefits, they're like, okay, what does this do? Why would I benefit from this? So it's actually very inspiring. I think a follow-up question for you would be, there are a lot of abundant of resources on Udemy, Coursera, stuff like this. How do you find really good courses that would actually benefit you? Because I mean, yes, it's amazing that we have so many resources, but it's always hard to make a choice, because at the end of the day, you might have to pay for those courses. So how do you
Absolutely.
find the best choice of course for you that would cause the most learning trajectory in your career path?
Excellent question. And that is one of the most important challenges, I think, for anyone, especially if you're changing careers and looking to break into, move towards a more digital role. And the answer is you have to explore what you personally are interested in and the degree that you want to push yourself to build new skills. For example, if you want to become a software engineer, that's going to take at least 2 years. You can't shortcut that. You have to, put in the work. Boot camps squeeze a lot into 6 months, but do not entirely prepare you for that. So you have to consider the boot camp plus an apprenticeship afterwards to get both, the skill training, but on the job training to know that it's important. So it's a 2 year commitment. I would highly recommend you talk to a few software engineers before starting that 2 year commitment. So, informational interviews is one of the best tactics that we work with people to do. Is cold LinkedIning or tweeting or emailing strangers, meeting people at events. Now that we can sort of return to some of these events, but yeah, to have 3 or 4 conversations at least to ensure that you understand what it means to become a software engineer or a data scientist, and also that there are a lot of other angles that aren't quite so extreme. So you could move towards a DevOps role instead of jumping all the way to software engineering. You could incrementally start to move down the stack. So I guess just to summarize, I would talk to people that have those jobs that you think you want to have. And back into, if you hear what they say and it sounds fun, you will have motivation to work for 2 years to get to that amazing job. But if you hear the salary, which they're high because these are in demand jobs, but it's really hard. That's why the salaries are high. So I would highly recommend talking to people, exploring what the careers actually entail, and YouTube and even your show provide some amazing insights. So I would look through the resources that are freely available on YouTube, on shows like this, to hear what other technical people have done to break into the field. So yeah, I think there's no shortage of content. I think it's just a question of curating what to look at and really being confident in the career track that you want to follow. Just for reference, our company, what we do is we provide a coach. So we, really a counselor that whether you're an employee at a company looking to upskill or you're a job seeker looking at an apprenticeship, you speak to a real person and they give you some feedback on the courses you'd need to take to achieve which skills and outcomes and what jobs you might qualify for as a result. So that's how part of how we approach it.
Okay, another follow-up question because I mean you said a lot of interesting things. I think my next follow-up question for you, Chris, would be that so I think traditionally, you used to you needed a college degree in a specific field after which you could pursue a
Yep.
certain career. A lot of companies sometimes still consider a college degree
Yep.
and everything. But what if you do learn from online and everything? How do you make yourself stand out compared to other candidates who might come with a strong college background and who might have a portfolio, but they don't, as in like they might not have the experience that you had learning from Coursera or Udemy. So how do you make yourself
Well,
stand out there?
first, being debt free without a college education might be just as good as having a couple $100,000 in debt and a college
Yeah.
degree. So one way to stand out is going deep instead of broadening and being a sort of a master of none, like kind of like I have been throughout my career. But I know a little bit about a lot of things. What if you went deep on one thing, and especially if that's a digital topic like cybersecurity, machine learning. You could specialize. Choose a topic that you're interested in after you talk to those 3 or 4 people, like we mentioned before, and go deep. Build something, experiment with something. Um, I think another way is to have a specific, track or goal. Even if that goal is the goal shouldn't be to get a job. The goal should be what you do at the job and communicate that to your interviewer in your cover letter. Write a cover letter. No, as someone who's read a lot of resumes and coached people to improve their job and application process, I'm shocked at how many people just copy and paste the cover letter, and it seems antiquated, and it is. But you're asking a person to take 15 minutes and take your resume out of the stack of 1,000 and take the time to meet you. So take the couple minutes, write a sentence or two to explain who you are and why you think this job is the perfect job. And that alone, lower volume, higher quality is the better step, even if you're not sure. What career track you'll be on in 5 years. At least communicate why now you want to work at that company. So yeah, hope that provides some helpful advice. That I think you don't have to have all the answers, but you should bring a point of view so the interviewer feels excited to talk to you and continue the dialogue.
Well, Chris, thank you so much. I definitely loved hearing about your company, how fast it's growing, and how you're making a difference in so many people's lives. I think the benefit space specifically is an untapped industry, so it's great to see that companies like this are deciding to do something about it. But other than that, Chris, we do like to keep things short. Our time is up. It was an absolute pleasure learning about Take Work Back, about how you're growing your company, how you're growing your little daughter side by side as well,
Oh yes,
which might increase in sleep deprivation. But it was a
thank you
pleasure
so
learning
much.
about you and your journey.